Canadians traveling to the U.S. will not be exempt from new border rules that require all foreign nationals staying 30 days or longer to register with U.S. officials. That policy is set to take effect next month, but unlike other travelers, Canadians will not have to provide fingerprints. For some snowbirds, getting scanned was a concern, many calling it demeaning. Here to break down the confusion surrounding the new regulations is Len Saunders, a U.S. immigration lawyer, and he joins us from Blaine, Washington, just south of Vancouver. Len, thank you very much for joining us. A lot of Canadians confused about this new visitor registration regulation. So just explain it for us.
Well, Ian, it is super confusing. So it took me a couple of days to kind of figure out what the Americans are doing. But what they want to make sure is if somebody isn't admitted on what's called an I-94, which most Canadians have no idea what that is, which is a visa that you get at the border, then you have to register within 30 days with the U.S. government. So I've been fielding calls from so many confused Canadians asking if it applies to them.
And so what are you answering?
Well, what I'm telling them is that this is a new regulation that was enacted by an executive order on January the 20th. It flew under everyone's radar. I never heard about this until last week, until the media brought it up. And so what I'm educating fellow Canadians on is that when they enter the U.S., they actually get a visa, this electronic visa. It's been there for years, but most people never knew what it was or how to access it. So I'm telling them how to access their online U.S. visa. And then if they have one, it doesn't matter. They don't have to register. But if they don't, then they have to go through this process that's starting on April 11th. They have to register with Homeland Security. Obviously, update all their information. They haven't published exactly what's going to be required, but probably their name, date of birth, passport information, and all that. So I think you're going to have a lot of people not wanting to come to this country if they have to do this process as part of their vacation. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, it's incredible as well that somebody like you, who has an expertise in immigration law, and you're right there on the border, that you didn't know of the existence of it. If you didn't, I'm sure a lot of Canadians don't. And if they don't comply with this, what are the penalties?
Well, what's interesting is they published what the penalties will be. If you fail to comply, you could either have a $5,000 penalty, a fine, or 6 months in jail. Can you imagine U.S. immigration rounding up a whole bunch of retirees in Florida or Arizona from Canada and putting them in detention? I hate to say it, but given what's been going on the last couple of months with this new government, it could happen.
Yeah, so let me follow up on that. I mean, you kind of say that with a bit of a smile on your face. A lot of people are probably looking at this going, don't tell me what the maximum penalty is. There's no way the authorities would penalize Canadian snowbirds for not registering.
Well, you wouldn't think so. Common sense says that the Americans, especially with so many Canadians not coming down here right now because of the tariff war, you think the Americans would want to encourage Canadians, especially snowbirders, spending their money for months and months and months in the United States to come down here. So you don't think, common sense would say they're not going to bother. But who knows? I've heard of people being detained as visitors who are working voluntarily, in this country right now. So anything could happen. I hate to say that.
All right, well, let's finish with this. For anybody who's watching in Canada who is contemplating spending more than 30 days in the United States, what's your advice to them?
Google search what's called I-94. That's the website that you can go onto for Customs and Border Protection. Enter in your passport number, your name, your date of birth, the next time you come to this country, and see whether you have an I-94. If one's been issued, no problem. If you don't have one, then you have to follow these new regulations.
It's always great getting your guidance on these issues. Len, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. Have a good night.
U.S. immigration lawyer Len Saunders.